Okay, I hope we are live. Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. So sorry for the delay. Yep, let me just also put my screen share so I can see what you guys are typing in. Just give me a sec, guys. Yep, you're good to go. Okay, I hope my voice is clear and I'm also visible clearly. Just let me know in the chat real quick before we start off. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, folks. Right. So let's quickly start off. So before we start off, as everyone knows, right, all the people who are new, I'm going to just take a few minutes to explain the whole onboarding process, and then I'll call your trainer Gauravdeep to basically teach you. Right. Today we are launching another bootcamp that is about Google Sheets. And why, just to briefly tell you why it is important, is no matter what domain or what company or what technology or whatever thing you work with, right, sheets is something that you can say is the very important skill that you should know. Mastering sheets can get you better job opportunities. It will help you create better dashboards and whatnot. So it is like the minimum thing that you should at least know, right? Sheets. And that is why we have started this whole boot camp, right? Okay, so before we start off, just to explain a few things, if you just go in the description, there is a link for the documentation. I'm just going to put it right here in the chat, right? So that this is basically the place where you can access everything regarding your program. I'm going to pin that for you guys, and I'm so going to open that. Right. So now once you open that link, you will land onto a Notion page looking similar to like this, right? Just to explain you everything, the first thing that you need to do is go and enroll into the program. It's pretty much 3-step process. You enroll into the program, you attend the session, mark your attendance, and you get your certificates. The sessions are happening on YouTube, right? And it's a 3-day program: today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. The enrollment link is right here. Once you click on the enrollment link, it should directly take you to the one link platform, and it will ask you if you want to enroll. If you're not enrolled already, just go and hit enroll, and that's it. You are enrolled. There are all the links to the sessions, and once the session is active, you will be seeing a mark attendance option where you have to basically go and mark your attendance for that particular class. And if there is any feedback, please give honest feedbacks, and that's it. Your attendance is marked. Similarly, when tomorrow's class starts, you will see the session attendance link, attendance option available right here. Second thing, very important, to get your certificates, if you go and click here, what is happening? Let me just refresh this. So there is basically two things that are very important to get a certificate, that is marking attendance and assignments, if there is any given by the trainer. And your certificate will be available only after the last class starts, that is day after tomorrow. And your progress has to be more than 50%. Then only you will be able to download the certificates, right? And you can of course go and refer your friends for the program. For any notification about all the upcoming bootcamps, you can join the WhatsApp channel or the Telegram channel for your updates. Or you want to talk with your folks who are studying along, you can join the Telegram channel, right? So that's it about the whole thing. As I mentioned, very important step to do is go and enroll. And where you can see the all the programs is, once you have logged in, right, you can see all the programs in the my program section right here in your profile, and all the programs that you are a part of will be available here. You can again access everything right from here as well. Now moving back to the document, right, and there is the notes to all the concepts that are going to be covered right here, so you can access everything at one place. And in case you did not understand whatever I just said about the whole process, everything is mentioned right here in step-by-step process to complete the program. You can, as I mentioned, that one document is going to be your go-to place for everything that is happening in and around the program. All the steps are mentioned with proper screenshot in this document. Please follow this along in case you get stuck anywhere apart from the teaching part, right? So now, yeah, Sachin, please go and ask your doubts. I'm here, and yeah, so that is all about it. I'm just repeating Everything is in the description. There are three steps. First is to enroll, second is to attend session, and then you get your attendance marked, and then you get your certificates, right? Very simple. All the sessions are going to happen from 6:30 today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 1.5 hour sessions. You can ask your doubts in the chat section. Do not spam the chat. And with that, let me just call in Gaurav. Let me just remove my screen and add Gaurav. Hi Gaurav, how are you? Hello.
Yeah, hi Prasad. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, you're perfectly clear.
All
Right.
good.
So, guys, Gaurav is going to be a trainer for the next 3 days. You can ask anything that you want in the sessions, learn as much as you can, and please make sure that whatever he's teaching you on day-to-day basis, please you practice that. Right. And over to you, Gaurav. I'll be signing off, and I'll see you guys at the end. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you so much, Prasad. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining in. I see that many of you are interested to learn Google Sheets, and of course, why not? It is a very important skill to learn. All right. Let us see the chats coming in. Okay. Hi, Sachin. I'm good. Thank you for asking. That's nice. I can see many people interacting. Good. So, the very first and foremost thing is that why should we even learn Google Sheets, right? That's a very important point to understand. See, in today's generation, Google Sheet is more than something that fits in one particular area or a domain of real life application, right? Google Sheet is more about it has become like the daily bread of many things, be a hotel industry, be a management industry, be at personal level. A student can use it, a researcher can use it, uh, teachers, college people, business people, anyone can use it to track your finance. You can use it for whatnot, right? So there are multiple reasons and multiple benefits of using Google Sheet, and we will talk about it very soon. Okay. All right, so just let me also meanwhile share my screen. Okay. Now the first thing is that Google Sheets is really easy to use. So why is it so? You will learn it in the next 3 days, and you will realize that it takes barely few hours of effort to learn Google Sheet, right? If you know how to use a computer in the very first place. The next thing why Google Sheet is important and is a groundbreaking software that came into the spreadsheet industry is the cloud functionality or the accessibility, right? The sheets are accessible from any device that can support a Google account, right? Could be a tablet, could be a phone, uh, could be some other device, smart devices, could be laptops, PCs, workstations, wherever, right? You just need a browser to open Google Sheet, because that's where this spreadsheet software works, right? It's a web based application where you can just launch in on spreadsheets and just go over there, right? The next most important reason to use Google Sheets should be and is collaboration. Now, when I talk about collaboration, what do I mean by that is that uh, even 10 people or 100 people need to work on a same sheet. All of us can just join in using just one URL, right? Just need to share a URL, and in the real time and in the live conditions, people can work on the same task, right? That's the level of real time collaboration that the Google Sheets can provide, right? Next thing is it is free of cost to use it, right? It's open source. Anyone can use. When I say open source, it is open to use, right? The code or nothing is publicly available, but the software itself is free to use, right? It's secure. There are multiple templates it can support in it that we can use and uh, move around with it, right? So I don't think that I should have any you can say an attempt to give you applications of Google Sheet, right? They are so vast that you already have certain idea, right? That where Google Sheets can be used. Google Sheets can be used to even maintain your own personal account, like your personal finance. You're taking some loan, you want to do some calculations, you want to see finance, you want to see data. Wherever data is involved, Google Sheets do come into picture, right? So that's the prime key area and why you should learn Google Sheets. Okay. Now let me just once try to start my screen sharing if possible. Okay. 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 It is live, right? Is it? I cannot see it on my YouTube screen. Let me just try to reshare it. I'll reshare my screen. All right. Trying it once again. Yeah. All right. I think now it is live. Sorry, I think that was some lag from my internet. But I think now it's fair enough. Okay. uh, ठीक. Okay, guys. All right. So since my screen is visible, I'll just quickly plug into my whiteboard. Also, my webcam should be visible, right? Great. Okay. So you'll just quickly jot down those terms that I've just mentioned you. All right. So just a second, my whiteboard will need some calibration because my pen will not work here. All right. Yes, I think now my pen should work. Perfect. Fine. Now let us just quickly go back and try to understand why learn Google Sheets, right? That's really important and why we should do it. It is great software to handle data. It is easy to use. Accessibility, as I mentioned. So, can someone recall what is accessibility? It can be used from any device, wherever, whenever, right? You just need internet. You need not worry about. In fact, I'll add one more important and interesting point is auto saving, right? I'll also talk about it. That Google Sheets, they do not need you to deliberately handle saving the updates or features. Whatever you modify in your sheet, even if your PC goes down, no worry, things are getting auto saved, right? That's the best feature for Google Sheets. Next is it is free to use. It is secured and supports templates. So what do I mean by templates is, let me just quickly go ahead and also make that point little more clear to you. Suppose we need to do finance plan template Google Sheet. Personal monthly budget template, we can just use it, and you see there are so many interesting and beautiful templates available to use, right? We can use any of them. So there you can see that these are templates that are by default available, and whenever I want it I can just use it. And this is view only, but fine, I can delete things and modify them as per my requirement, right? So that's the most important thing, or the point that I would like to keep, that whatever you want, templates are always available, right? uh, so that's really interesting and good to have feature. So with that being said, I think the idea is clear that how templating can work. So be personal financing, be data analysis, a student working, researcher working, a event planner planning tasks. Even it can be used to make different tasks like Jira. Suppose you want to plan some roadmap, you want to have some uh, you can say milestone based timeline. You can do that, right? So Gantt chart template Google Sheets. We can just Google it. I see Google basic Gantt chart template. Let's try to see how it works. And perfect, right? Basic Gantt chart right over here. You can see that there are different phases available. Phase 1, 2, 3, 4. We can extend if you want your project is 6 phases. You can add more colors, more things. You have 2 phase, 1 phase, 3 phase, whatever it is, and you can easily align who's the task owner, right? Uh, Project concepts, what is happening when it is happening, percentage of completion right over here, and readily available template to use, right? If you want to do some task planning, templates are always available, and you can find a blank version of it. They have given you by default, but we will talk about all this later, how Google Sheet works. For now, the idea is to explain you uh, basically what is Google Sheets and all, right? Sheets, yeah. Of course, Google Sheets, Sachin has asked that can we make automatic attendance sheets on Google Sheets? Yeah. So as I mentioned, like Google Sheets can be furthermore used, explored, and better used or conceptualized by programming also, right? Yeah. So that's really important. And to understand that what programming can do a lot of things. It can help you also automatically populate data, do automatic attendance. Of course, it can help you with it. It can help you with multiple different aspects of Google Sheet also, like handle data, manipulate it, and many other things, right? So that's the most important point, that Google Sheet has unlimited amount of applications, right? So once we understand this, the next idea is that we will just quickly get started with the Google Sheets. We'll try to use it. We'll try to understand how things work over here, right? So let me just open up a new tab in my browser. Since it works on browser, it is important that we use browser, right? And I'll just search Google Sheets. So what you can see is these are the different domains, like google.com spreadsheet or google.com sheet about, right? I'll just use this Google Sheets sign in, right? Now, since I've already signed in, let me. I don't want to sign out, so you can just quickly go and sign in, and this is where you should land, right? Okay, so or let me, in fact, like just try to go to spreadsheets.com, and there you are. This is the by default site. I'll also pin it in the subscribe chat. Okay. Yes, you can copy this from here, right? Perfect. So you can even copy this link and try to go right over here on the link that I've shared with you. It should work, and by default you should. Okay, I don't think this page will work. Yes, but this page should work. I'll just share it again. Just use this domain, this website. Just go into the spreadsheet, sign in, and this is where you will finally be, right? https://docs.google.com/spreadsheets. This is the website where you should be, right? Okay. Now you can see that I use Google Sheets a lot on mostly multiple time I use this sheet. Okay, and you see I just used personal monthly budget and Gantt chart template few minutes back. Okay, so do not worry, Mikey. I think regarding the notes, you will be provided with it. I'll provide you with some good reference material by the end of this 3-day session. Whenever needed, I'll provide you with it, right? Okay, all right. Now, that being said, this is the very first layout of how Google Sheets should look like, right? Okay, just a second. All right. Just give me a minute, students. It will not take more than that. There's some just company work. I just send one message. Cool. So with that being said, do you need to install Google Sheets? No, that's the best part. I told you it's completely web based. There is no installation, no hiccups when it comes to how can I use Google Sheets, right? Pretty plain, straightforward way to do it, right? So what we will do is either we can use the templates available. We can even go to template gallery and see different templates available. You can see like there is monthly budget, there is you can say schedule, calendar, uh, travel planner. Travel planner sounds interesting. Let us even see that there's in fact a wedding planner. You can see 5/9 Thursday flight from where, hotel name, conference agenda, tourist, and this sheet looks so beautiful, right? And there are many interesting sheets that you can make. You can in fact share back to the community some sheets that you create, right? Let's look at the wedding planner. How does it look like, right? So if you look at wedding planner, uh, overview, budget, guests, locations, entertainment, photography, food, style. Interesting. So these are some detailed things: schedule, budget estimator, details, and so many different versions of sheets available. Right? Guest lists, invitations. It is a very detailed template actually. This wedding planner is pretty serious that they have developed to a level, right? And much more. There's a team roster available. We can see this template: first name, last name, phone, email ID, position, notes, team management, managers, and like the roster is like the attendance sheet or the availability of the resource, right? What people are available with you, what is the schedule of them, right? Their schedule is available with you. So interesting way to even use Google Sheets for that. And well, this is just for personal level. You can see the templates even for work, to create invoice, to create weekly timesheet, expense report, purchase order. So purchase order is really common and used with many in industries. Like many industries will use this template. They can use it. They don't need, or they can create their own if they are more artistic. They want something for their own personal use case. Can be done. Project management. I showed you the Gantt chart, but there are more than that. Project timeline, project tracking. There's for education and much more. Right. You can also find many more templates from the community. Now, with this being said, the idea is that let us start with a blank template, which is something that all of us in our real life will mostly use, right? Uh, you will see yourself using templates for limited use cases, whereas there are multiple use cases where you will start with blank spreadsheets without any template to it. All right, so here we are. So we have the first workbook open for us, right? So whatever you see on your screen, untitled spreadsheet, it is known as a workbook, right? A workbook can have many spreadsheets. So remember, on the top left, what you see is your workbook, right? So I can just even rename it. So the idea how to do that is that on the top left where you see untitled spreadsheet, you can click on it, and once you click on it, it becomes editable. Even if you click multiple times, no worries. You can just do control a sorry, you can just click again and select all the text. And once you've done it, backspace, let me try to add my first workbook. You can give whatever a name you want, however you want to name it. uh, in fact, let's try to say it YouTube live dash workbook, okay, or whatever you want to call it. The idea is as a tech guy as a person who is involved with maintaining, creating this sheets for a company or for whatever use, be personal or be professional, you should name your workbooks or spreadsheets in a way that they are much more rational, right? Logical. What do you mean by that is just by looking at the name, you should be able to understand why this sheet was created or what is the purpose of this sheet, right? So tomorrow, if I start naming worksheets with some, say, random chronology or some random analogy, say I start naming work books or workbooks with movie names, right? Say Bollywood movie names. So what if I call this workbook as, uh, say, just a second, I'll call it Pathan, okay. And if I leave it like that, what sense does it create? Tomorrow, if I edit it and I name it War, what sense does it create, right? I mean, like, War will still create sense. It's a war spreadsheet, but what about like uh, तेरी बातों में ऐसा उलझा जिया, right? Or whatever is the name of the movie. A pretty funny name, but just imagine that if this is the name of the spreadsheet, how difficult would be, or the amount of randomness that will be there in the spreadsheet to even judge or predict what this sheet can do will be much at a higher level, right? The probability of guessing the correct purpose of this sheet would be completely random, right? And again, if we come back to YouTube live workbook demo, it can still make some sense. The in fact interesting part here is that we should use camel casing or underscores to name the spreadsheet, right? Because camel casing is also a very good way to name sheets, right? I'll say if this sheet is between some different collaborations, say uh, company one, you can use this greater than less than symbol. Company two, YouTube live session. Okay, so let us call it let's upgrade YouTube live session day one. Still makes sense, right? So that is the agenda that you should learn. It is important to name workbooks correctly and logically, right? Apart from that, you can also at the same time try to maintain the limitation of number of words required to be used, right? In fact, I can you write it YT, right? YT live session D1 still can make sense. Okay. Just give me a moment, students. I'm getting a very important call. Just let me take it. It will not take more than a minute. All right. That's what I told you. It will be a very short call. Already done with it. So let us go back to what we are focusing on, and that is the name of the workbook. Now, apart from naming the workbook, the next thing that we can do is we have different spreadsheets in the bottom, right? So once we have that, you can see in the very bottom left that we have spreadsheets named as sheet one for now. Okay, in the bottom left we can see that, right? Now, as a book can contain multiple sheets, so can an Excel workbook or a spreadsheet workbook contain multiple sheets. For example, here the name of the sheet is sheet 1. We can click on the drop down arrow that it contains with it by default. We can click on rename. Okay. The other way is we can just hover the cursor over this name and double click it will still enter the rename mode. Okay, so remember how you can double click and start renaming your workbook. Similarly, double clicking on the sheet name can also help it, right? You can rename it to whatever one, right? So demo sheet 1. Okay, so this is one way to use it. Now again, as I told you, to name sheets, it is really important that you use some good logic to do it, right? So with that being said, that's how you can rename. I'll encourage students that you can go ahead and try to rename sheets, try to create more workbooks. You can do it live with me. Now to add more sheets into the workbook, there are two different ways to use. See, suppose if you want to create a workbook starting with the same inspiration from the initial workbook, so in that case, you should use duplicacy, right? So how can you use duplicacy is, you can click on the drop down arrow and then you can go on duplicate, right? So once you click on the drop down arrow and then click on the duplicate, what it does is that it helps us duplicate this exact sheet. I'll just try to write a b c d, some values in different areas. We will talk about these things in details, and just let me try to click on the drop down arrow and now try to duplicate it, right? So once I duplicate it, do you see that the name of the sheet by default is copy of demo sheet 1? Now I can rename it to whatever. Suppose I do not want A, B, C, D here, but I want D, E, F. Or suppose if I wanted C, D. So, this is the task that I can stop from investing and duplicate it from the previous sheet, right? That's really important. I can rename it as demo sheet 2, right? So that's also interesting way that how we can create more sheets, when the idea is that we need to create sheet from a workbook where the goal is that we do not need to uh, do the same task again if it matches in a way that it's duplicate, right? Other way is, if you want to create a blank sheet, you can click on this plus button again. In the bottom left you will find there's a plus button, and if you use it, there's a new sheet created. Click it again, new sheet created. Click it again, new sheet created, right? So you can create as many sheets as you want. Practically, it doesn't has a limit. Like, it can suffice all the tasks that we do. That whatever sheet we want, how many sheets we want, can be compiled in one workbook, right? So let me click on drop down, and from here, rather than renaming, there are more things that we can do with the sheet. We can hide this sheet. What does this mean is that by clicking on the hide sheet, this sheet is no more visible to us, right? But whenever we want to recollect the sheet, you see, clicking on these three arrows on the bottom again, we will be able to see this sheet, right? And bring it back. Suppose I want to hide this sheet for now. Let me hide this sheet. Let me hide this sheet. This way, what I'm doing is I'm not actually deleting sheet number 3 and sheet number 4, but for now, since there are a lot of spreadsheets in the bottom tab, I do not want to see these sheets for now because I'm not focusing on them, not working on them for now. For now, I'm only focusing on some other task, and maybe later on I want them. So when later on when I want them, I can click on these drop downs, like these three horizontal lines, bring those sheets back. But suppose if the scenario is different, there is a case where I do not want to hide these sheets, but I want to really just delete them out. Click on it, delete. Here is something where you will find a warning, right? What does this warning say? Is this warning says that heads up? Do you really want to delete it, right? So this is that the last ultimatum warning that the Google Sheet is trying to give you, that are you sure that you want to do this? So once you click on it, the sheet is gone. So let us go ahead and click, and the sheet is gone, right? Now go ahead, students, quickly try out to create some sheets, add sheets, rename them, hide them, delete them, and let me know if at all there is any difficulties that you're facing meanwhile, right? Okay, let me also meanwhile be a little attentive to the chats. Fine. All right. Chats are all good. Perfect. Coming back, we will. I'll just personally try to delete the sheets. Delete. Yep. Delete. Yep. Yes. Delete them and delete them. Okay. Now, if at all, students, you have seen our sessions on Git or GitHub, or if you at all you know what is a version control system VCS, what it does for you, the same functionality is also available in Google Sheets, right? It has version control system to it. Uh, to see that, on the top right side, you will see that there is this a symbol like a, you can say, anti-clockwise arrow with some clock made in it, which is like your uh, history of versions, right? If you see, there are two versions of the spreadsheets. Version 1 was created at 6:58 p.m., where the sheet was completely empty. At 7:10, there was a modification done to it, where ABCD was written to it. And as time goes on, Google will keep on saving all the versions right over here, so that you can, whenever you feel that you have missed a lot of things, uh, whatever it is, then maybe you can just go back and get it fixed, right? Okay. So moving back, let us just go back from here. Now, with this being said, this is the basic idea of how to name sheets or rename a workbook, create a workbook, add more sheets, whatever, right? All right. So, with this being said, let us look into the idea of how this Google Sheets look like, right? So, Google Sheet is compressed of this horizontal and vertical lines. When I say horizontal and vertical line, what it means is that there are different rows and columns into it. So if you understand the idea of matrix or matrix, how it works, uh, there are different columns and different rows. So in spreadsheet, the columns are named as per alphabets A, B, C, D, E, F. And do not worry what happens after Z. After Z, you will be able to find more columns. Like suppose if I right click and insert one column to the right, it starts with double A, right? Maybe A, B, A, C, and things like that, right? Suppose if I add some more, so one column to the right, it is AB. So you just imagine that there is no limitation on of how many columns can we have. Even when we finish XYZ, we can start with double A, then AB, AC, AD, AE, EF, and so that. But ABCD is finished, we can again start with BA, BB, BC, BD, and things like that. So you see how interesting is the level of permutation and combination that we can have, and practically even if we exhaust that, then we can have triple A, and the permutation and combination for 3 digits is much more higher. So there is no limitation on how many columns can be named here, right? So with that being said, columns are the vertical things that follows. Suppose if I have to select a column, I can click on the column name. By doing so, I can select the entire column, right? That's the idea. So with that being said, the next walk around is the number of rows, right? So there are multiple number of rows that are there. Practically, if you just scroll down, I'll just use this bar to scroll down to the end, and you will see there are 1,000 rows. And in the bottom, you see there is an option known as add, and there is a box in front of it that how many more rows do you want to add. Add 1,000 more rows, done. There are 2,000 rows now. Add 1,000 more rows, done. There are 3,000 rows now. Add 10,000 more rows, done. There are 13,000 rows in this spreadsheet now. All right. At any given point, if I want to redo my mistake, general keyboard shortcuts like copy paste, control C, control V, or delete, control Z works, or undo. Control Z works with undo. So control Z, control Z, control Z will delete all my past actions of adding 1,000, then 1,000, and then 10,000 rows. All are deleted, and this is how the rows can work. To select any row, you can click on the row number. Like if I want to select row number 865, just click on it. The complete row is selected, right? With that being said, let me go to the top of this sheet. And once I'm on the top, all right. Now let me try to look into it, right? Okay, perfect. So with this being said, the idea is that can we rename a column, right? So in spreadsheets, there's no straightforward way to do that, and the idea is because the column are basically indices, right? They are indices. So for example, suppose if you're familiar with Python programming or any programming, not just Python or any programming language, if you're familiar with it, you're familiar with arrays. That arrays can have different objects into it, right? You can rename whatever object you want, but ideally it is placed in computer by the logic of indexing. So these columns here, abcd, they are just for indexing, right? You can ideally create your own first row as column names, right? You can use first row as column names. Suppose if I want to create 4 columns, I can just use this, say column 1, column 2. Okay, and just let me try to copy paste it. Okay, so I can use different column names. Okay, and that's fine. For now, this is the column tab for me. Okay, so with this being said, this is the ideal way to use. Like now you can use these columns for your data analysis, right? Or whatever columns you want. That abcd is just for indexing. Okay, I hope Sachin that part is clear to you. So with that being said, let us go back. So Google Sheet is similar to a math exercise book. Okay, it has rows and columns, and you can do a lot of things with it. Basically you can write many functions into it, right? So the syntax of writing function into any cell is you select the cell, you press this equal to key from your keyboard, and do whatever operation do you want. Suppose if you want to perform some arithmetic operation, say 1 plus 1, we can write that and hit enter. So once we hit enter, the answer becomes as 2, right? That is one way to look at it, how functions can be written. And voila, you have learned how to use functions, right? That's the prime agenda of using functions. Okay, now let us look at the UI of this spreadsheet. Since my approach or take was that first I'll give you some features, okay, because that will create some interest. Then we will just go ahead and just quickly walk around the UI quickly, right? So when it comes to UI, on the very top left there is a green symbol. Okay, this green symbol is used as you can say the sheet name. Okay, okay, just let me just try to take a snapshot of it and try to paste it over here. Okay, all right, perfect. So if you see right over here, this is the sheet name that I'm referring to. Okay, so sheet name is this green symbol right over here. Perfect. So since that's visible and quite clear to you what sheet name means, that's fine. And this right over here, Control Z, this is your sheet name, right? Moving apart from it, in the bottom, let me try to highlight it in the purple tab, in the purple color. Okay, so this is the menu, right? So menu has different things. Different things are like, there is file. You can use file to open files, create files, manipulate files, edit files. So file is this. Edit is used to do undo or redo or many other things, right? View is again used to do changes in view. Insert can help you insert things into the uh, of course the spreadsheet. Format can again help you do a lot of formatting for cells. What values do they hold, what do they do. Data can be used to play around with the data that goes into the sheet. Again, there are some tools and some add-ons and help section. So menu has a lot of different things that can be used in such ways. Okay, Apart from that, there is like different groups. So if you see, this is one group, okay, right over here, which is undo, redo, print, or format painter. The view size is one group. Then there are some the similar actions are grouped together, right? Like a decimal point zero zero, calibration or percentage or whatever it is, the text type that should be there, it is grouped with the font size also, right? So you can see that, you will see that a lot of different groups which are available in the quick access toolbar. Together we call it quick access toolbar. There are many shortcut things, like if you want to do bold, italics, you can strike through the color of the text. If you want to use some commands like add some table, like highlight some cells, align the orientation in the cell where the text should look like, okay, and vertical horizontal alignment, add some links, okay, do a lot of things. All these access bars are available on the spreadsheet always, okay. On the top you can see that these options are available. We have already seen some of them. Let us click on file. You will see new, open, import, make a copy, download, rename, move. Such options are available here. Edit, as I told you, undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, delete, things like that. Find and replace. View can help you show grid lines. If you do not want to see it, you see grid lines are disappear, right? They are not visible now, but we want it, we will keep it. The lot of different things that you can do. Formula bar gone, maybe for now we will keep it, we will keep the formula bar, okay. You see the formula bar is right over here. We will talk about what formula bar is soon, do not worry. Then you can add comments if you want. So when you're collaborating with 10 different people, 10 different people can also leave you comments that okay, suppose I'll click over, right click, comment, say Sachin, can you enter your collections here, and I'll leave this comment. If I do at the rate, it will also pop into the Sachin's Google chats or emails that Gaurav has left a comment for you. Can you check this sheet? If at all, person by the name of Sachin is involved in this task, right? Maybe then they can acknowledge the comment and it is there. So view can also be used to show comments, or comments can be show all comments. So on the left you can see these comments which are made over here, right? I can also then reopen this comment, or you can delete this comment once you have finished this task. So comments are also used to work in collaboration, right? That's the point. So again, view has such functionalities. Insert, you can insert drawings, you can insert charts, more columns, more rows, things like that. Format, again, theme, what type of numbers, text or date is the cell holding can come here. Do you want to sort this sheet based on ascending descending orders, maybe some create your own personal filters, and data you can say wrangling part, manipulating part, data extraction part, all of this is here. Tools can check your spellings, they can help you with autocomplete, they can help you create Google Forms out of it. Extensions, you can search for extensions, right? I've added some extensions for my personal use, but you can always go and get add-ons. Search for the market, whatever add-ons you feel are interesting, you can download them, right? It's like mini apps that Google Sheets can support, right? So fax your document is a button, Salesforce is a button, flight emissions from Google Sheet. There are so many interesting you can say extensions that you can buy for, or even they could be free or they could be paid. You can take over here, right? Help section can again help you learn more about Google Sheets. This is a training program. Now, people who are asking for notes, this is a good place to take notes from. But do not worry, I'll help you with some good notes. Once that's said and done, I'll look into it. All right, so let us move forward, right? So now we understand what is a sheet and what are the things that we can do with it, right? So how can we select different rows, right? So, or different cells. Suppose if I want to select group of cells, I can just click on one cell and not leave the click. Keep on selecting my selection wherever I want it, right? Suppose if I want 3 rows, I can move my mouse till that point. Whatever rows I want, I can go till that point. And once I have reached the level of my selection, I can just so you see I'm just still holding my mouse. I can just leave the button, and once I leave it, the selection is done, right? So once the selection is done, that's how you select some grouped area. What if I want to select some individual cells which are not grouped together? So that's where I can use the control button from my keyboard and select multiple things like this, right? In fact, I can also drag few things like this, right? So that's how the control can work. And you see I have selected different places on the sheet, and they are all selected. If I do right click or control right click, I can still perform actions on them. Delete button to delete the values of this selected cells individually. Next thing is, what if I want to move between rows and columns which have empty spaces, right? Suppose if there is 1 2 and then 3 over here and then 4 over here and then 5 over here, right? So rather than doing this down arrow, because down arrow from the keyboard can help you go uh, to the different rows, right? Like down, 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 down. This is how you can work around between different rows, right? But what if I want to move faster, right? You will say just use mouse and click over here. Just use mouse, scroll down, click over here. Use mouse, go over here. What if I want to jump between say 1,000 rows? Like suppose if I place something over here, say 6 is right over here, right? Now, if I want to go on the first thing, you will see that use scroll button. So when I'm using scroll button, it still takes some time, right? It takes some time so that I can scroll up and go over there. Ideally, the shortcut is if there's a lot of space, you can use control key and the down arrow. It will quickly jump between white spaces. Do you see? I'll press one down. It went from 1 to 2. Again, I'll press one down. It directly went to 3. You see, the white spaces are jumped. If I click on 4, it will go down. Click on 5, go down. Now, rather than scrolling hundreds of rows, just one down can help you go from 5 to 6. Now, if you remember or recall, or if you have seen, our spreadsheet has around thousands of rows and they're all blank now, right? This is what we have written, but everything is blank below this row. So if I do control down, I'll directly reach the 1,000th row. There's not a lot of thing happening on the screen so that you can see it clearly, but if you read, we are on the 1,000th row now. And from here, if I do control up again, you see we are on 378th row, which is the row which contains some data, right? So this is how we can move around. Maybe you can scroll, maybe you can do control up down. Okay, so how up down is used to work between different rows. Left right is used to hover around between the different columns, right? That's the agenda and how we can move between things, right? Perfect. So with that being said, that clears a lot of things that how we can move between rows and columns. Okay, just give me a minute, students, again. Okay, just give me a minute, students. Okay, ठीक है. I'll just need one more minute, students. Will not take more than a minute. I just need to quickly reply one email. So again, it is a Google sheet that I am mailing in my response. So you see, it's really a day-to-day task that we need to do. So Google Sheets is, you can say, life without Google Sheets is impossible in today's world. That's what I feel. It is always and always required. I hope you guys are also enjoying and trying to do this task live along with me, so that you get a very good grasp on the Google Sheets, right? All right. Cool. Let's get back. So again, what we can do is we can create some more interesting sheets, try to work around with it, and do a lot of stuff. But even before we do some lot of stuff, let us just quickly recap. UI, it's clear to us. We now understand why to use Google Sheets. Applications are clear to us. We are now familiar with a lot of basics, like how Google Sheet works, how workbooks are created, how we can add more sheets, rename them, hide them, add them, duplicate them, uh, how to write formulas, what is the process or procedure to write formulas, what is the syntax required. Again, the syntax is whatever cell you want, you can select, do whatever operation you want, say 1 multiplied by 50, the answer should be 50, press enter, that's the answer, right? So you can in fact use formulas to work around with many things, right? Say I'll create one column by the name of say hashtag, uh, then I'll say quantity, and I'll say price, and I'll say total price, creating some you can say uh, column names, right? I'll add hashtag as uh, Parleji biscuit. I'll add hashtag as Red Bull. I'll add hashtag as Lay's chips. I'll add say tea. Okay, say suppose a group of friends just had some random snack. Uh, say they ordered two Parlejis, four teas. Two people had Red Bull. Say one packet of chips. Price of Parleji is 10, or maybe they ordered 5 rupees Parleji. We can add these details in our sheet, say rupees, right? In rupees, so that again the column names should uh, help you understand, right? What exactly is being handled. Writing just 5 in the price column doesn't make sense, but adding 5 and then explaining that the column is in rupees makes sense, right? Red Bull could be 125, Lays could be again 10 rupees or maybe 20 rupees, or tea could be again for 20 rupees, right? So now let us see how formula can be used for even different rows and columns, right? So here I will again, the syntax is equal to, I'll press equal to. The idea is, so now Google is using AI, and it can predict a lot of things for you. See, Google Sheets is already predicting that do you want to multiply 2 with the price, or like B2 with C2. Again, if you see how these things are named, B is the column name, 2 is a row name, right? So B2 is something that comes over here. Let me just escape the formula mode. You see, B is the column name, 2 is the row name. This is where B2 resides. This is where C2 resides. As yeah, So C2 resides over here, right? What I want to do is I want to multiply B2 with C2. So I'll add equal to, and I can just select B2 just by clicking on it. That's how you select rows. I can select multiplication operation. I can select C2 again and hit enter. This is suggested autofill. Let us assume it was not available. Uh, you see the formula is giving answer as 10. We want to repeat this formula for all the possible next rows in this column, right? So in order to do that, the shortcut is you select that you select that cell. You see there's a blue dot in the bottom of at the top bottom right corner of that selection right over here. If I click on it, I get a very big plus from my cursor. I need to use my finger, hold it with my mouse, drag it down till the selection I want it to be there. I want it till D5. Release your finger and it is auto-filled. You see, the formula is also updated. B3 multiplied by C3, B4 multiplied by C4, and B5 multiplied by C5. So basically in the top what you see right over here, this is the formula bar, right? This is where formulas are written. In fact, like let me just delete it. I'll just click on it and try to write the formula in the formula bar. So I'll go there, right over there, equal to B5. I can just write it manually. B5 multiplied by C5. Hit enter. You see, I still get that. Now, what if I want total expense of this quick snacking that our team did or our friends did? It could be equal to. There are many built-in functions that can be used to do this, right? But let us for now just stick to B1 plus B2, D3 plus D4 plus D5. Hit enter. 360 rupees is a total bill that you need to pay. Okay. Ideally, there's a smart way to do it. Suppose there are a lot of rows that are there and we want to sum them all up. We'll do equal to. There are many built-in functions. One of the name is sum. Sum does this sum of different selections. For example, it takes a round bracket. Okay, it takes a round bracket to start it, right? To start, you need to give the value 1. I want to start from D2. Till where do I want to go? So I'll add a full colon. A full colon is used to specify the start and end of the series. I want to go till D5, right? Close the bracket, hit enter, you will get the total, right? This is manually. This is using built-in functions. Okay, so with that being said, that's the high level idea of how functions can be used. Now, let us talk about a few decorations that we can do to the Google Sheet that can further help us make our sheet look better, right? So for example, if there are few things for column number E that require more width than the standard width provided to us. So in order to achieve that, what we can do is we can try to extend this width as much as we want, however we want. In order to do that, what you will have to do is the line between E and F column, you'll have to take your mouse over there. You will see this will become like an adjustment bar. Click on it, drag it wherever you want. Suppose I want to make this bar of this width, this column of this width available. Next thing is I want to color some of the cells, especially my columns. I'll drag and select. See, I told you there are different ways to select, right? One is control right, right? Control shift right will help me select this. Control shift right will help me select this part. Or I can do control click, click, click. Or I can just click and drag the selection. Whatever way pleases you, you can use it. And now I will go on the shortcuts. Do you see on the top right in the shortcuts tab or the quick selection tabs, there is this paint bucket, right to the of bold italics strike through. There's a fill color. I can click on it and select whatever color pleases me, right? For example, I can go with this color. And there you go. Boom. That color is applied on those cells. Apart from it, what I feel, I should make my columns bold. I'll do the selection. I'll say make them bold, increase the font size. Okay. Apart from that, what I feel is I'll select my selection. I want them to be aligned uh, in the central position. So again, from that uh, quick for selection tab, like the shortcut tabs, I'll select orientation to be center. Boom, there it is, right? Next is, suppose I feel that this particular table should have bold boundaries around it. I'll click on it. Again, go on the borders shortcut, open the borders shortcut and use all borders to have everything bordered correctly, right? What I feel is that I'll select the selection. This border should be more thick. I'll select the selection, go on the borders tab. I'll use border color and here is the border style. I'll make it more thick. Okay, and I'll add border over here, or maybe I'll do Control Z. I'll go over here. I'll select my selection, border tabs, make it thick, but only at the bottom point, and there you go. So that's some beautification that we can do to the sheet, right? Suppose I will select it, this part. What I will do is there should be no borders. There is no border. Okay, I'll just select it. No borders needed. Everything is gone. Select it. Only outer borders needed. There you go. Select it. I need some thin borders inside also. Select it. There it is. Those are thick, but let me make it thin. So Control Z. Uh, Border styling is thin and right over here. So that's how you can work with different variations of beautifying the sheet, coloring the sheet, using shortcuts from there, write different things into the sheet. Okay, so these are some interesting examples on how you can write formulas, create basic sheets, add some ranges into the formula. I showed you how you can create formulas that create range, like D2 to D5. You can use sum, you can use average, you can do a lot of things, right? So we will be looking into it. We will do a lot of things with the spreadsheet. For now, let us look at how we can create numbers, right? So let me just delete all of this. Suppose uh, let me just select row number 2 to 5 and right click and delete these rows. I just don't want it. Okay, I'll add 1 over here, 2 over here, 3 over here. Suppose I want to add 100 such items, right? I can click on 3 and I can just use this blue circle, make a big plus from my cursor, drag it down. What you see is I'm copying all rows to have 3. This is not what I wanted, right? So the other way is, if there is a sequence that you want to paste, click on one, hold shift, select till 3, like select a sequence. Let this spreadsheet Google Sheet understand that we want to work with the sequence, right? 1 2 3. I'll select it, hold shift key and now drag it down. And this time you will see that Google Spreadsheets understand that we're trying to make a sequence, because first row has 1, second row has 2, third row has 3. So it followed that sequence and gave me this. I can keep on continuously holding this spreadsheet, hover it down till a point I feel that I have received 100 rows that I wanted, and those are numbered. Okay, that's it. That's how you can have numbers coming in. Suppose if I want to select this, I told you shortcut is control down. Okay, control shift up can help you select this selection more quickly. I'll want the alignment to be center, and there you go. Okay, so there are some interesting things that you can do. You can copy multiple things. Suppose if I want to copy this part, select the selection, copy, paste over here. I want to copy this part, copy, paste over here. There you go. Okay, I want to hide some columns, that's also possible. All right, so whenever I want to unhide it, I'll just have to do right click. Okay, hide column, that's there. Now I'll do and I'll just unrelease this column, right? So that's Some interesting part that can be done. For now, let me just quickly unhide them. Once they are there, let me delete them, delete the selection. And that's how you basically play around and fill even sequences, copy things, move them around in the spreadsheet. A lot of things that can be done, right? So in fact, like, we can also format uh, things to contain different data type. For example, I want to add now one column adjacent to the D column. Between C and D, I want one column. So how it can be done is, we can click right click on D, insert one column on the left, or you can click right click on C, insert one column on the right. Both works, right? I can have one column by the name of date. Okay. Now suppose if I want to add date, I'll just select the selection. Okay. And I'll select on the data from the top. I'll uh, I'll just quickly say, or I'll go on format. Okay, on format, I'll select number. What type of number is it? I'll say it is a date. Okay, so the Excel sheet will now understand, or the spreadsheet will understand that I am handling dates over here. Once I click on the date, I can do say 15 uh, April 2024, and it will treat it as a date. Suppose if I drag down, that's how it is sequentially populating the column, because now it understands it's a date, right? So this formula can be extended down then. Okay, there you go. Suppose if I change this date, if I want to change it, when I double click it, see, now spreadsheet is providing me with a calendar, right? Because it understands it's a date. I can go on one. Okay, and then again populate this population. There you go. Starting from 1st April or 1st June, actually this is June, 1st June. Okay, and things like that. Let me check what date it is. Yeah, it is June. So 1st June, 2nd June, 3rd June, 4th June. Let me in fact go there. I don't want June, I want 1st of March. Starting from there, I can just go repopulate and reach till this point. Okay, starting from 1st March, the selection goes till 31st. This is so let me highlight it with some color, say something like this. This is, say, date 1 of March. Let me highlight this with some other date, say date of April. Let me fill it with some another color, say something like this is April, and this is May right over here. Let me select it. Let me fill it with some other color, say something like this. And this part, let me fill it with some other color, say this. So you see, I have my different months colored, and the Excel sheet is beautified according to it. I do not okay, I'll select it. I can make this bold, italics, whatever I want, strike through, whatever I want. Okay, so suppose if March month is done, I can select it and add strike through. These dates are done. Okay, currently say we are on the 15th April. I'll just go here, add a strike through till 14th. Suppose if I'm editing this sheet on a daily basis. So once we have done a lot of things, now let us check our version control. How does it look like? You see, there are different versions available. It can maintain and track. You can save these versions. So once I click it, you see there are different edits that I've done. These are the last 6 edits that it is holding for us, right? And you can see this versioning is available always in the history, so that we can always go back and recover if something is lost. So that's about again some basics of how dates can be sequenced, how words and numbers can be combined together. Let's also check that part, because for our numbers and dates are done. Suppose if there is lecture 1 over here, we want to add, say, lecture 2 over here. Okay, and now if I click shift and do the sequential selection, it understands that lecture 1 to 3 are in a sequence, and that's also possible here, right? So with that being said, that's about some selections of word, letters, dates, and how it can be done with this spreadsheet, right? We can fill that spreadsheet with different data. We can copy data from one place to another place. We can do all sort of manipulations whenever needed, however needed, right? So that's the most important thing that we can work around with Excel sheet. Okay, so I hope till this point things are okay and clear. We can also do cut paste if you want, right, as copy paste thing of whatever you want to do, whatever you want to select, whatever you want to cut, whatever you want to paste. Not at all problem. You want to delete some data, select the selection, delete tab, will empty out the data for you. Okay, and things like that. Okay, suppose if I want to add some more data, say I'll select it and add some more data. Okay, and I'll continue adding. Now what I see over here is that after 30th again the month is changing. I want to change some color for it. Okay, I want to change the color for it. What I can do is, suppose if I want to repeat this blue color, I'll just select this blue color. I'll give you one more shortcut, which is format painter, paint format. I'll click on it. So wherever you have clicked, it will take that format from there and select a selection, and it will apply the format to it. Again, select some cell from where you want to copy the format, copy the cell, paste wherever you want to paste that format. Format is paste, value remains same. Okay. So for example, if I select this format with strike through, if I copy this format and I paste it over here, blue cells with this format is pasted, right? So that's all about again one functionality that is there. You can add more columns, delete more columns, add new rows, delete rows, whatever you want to, however you want to manipulate. That's perfectly fine. A delete button is used to delete values. Again, that's there. All right. So that's, I think, basically more about things, right? We can also do undo at any point if you want to do that, right? Suppose if you want to delete these cells, right click, insert only two rows above, insert four columns to the left. These are insert sections available. So right click, delete these rows, delete these columns, delete cells and shift left. That can also be done. The part is deleted. Okay. If I want to select the selection and do right click, delete 41 rows above, deleted. If I want to do, if I want to select this part, right click, uh, just simply delete rows. Rows are deleted. So now if you check, if I do control down, you see rather than having 1000 rows, now there are only 944 rows remaining because we have deleted many of the rows, right? And that's gone. Suppose if I click on say 90, then I scroll down till 190 and I do right click, delete these rows, and now if I go to the bottom, there is only 842 rows left. Suppose if I delete this 42 rows right from here, right click, delete row. Okay, I didn't select many of them. Right click. Okay. Wait, I'll just have to use right click, shift right click, and okay, just a second. Control right click and delete these rows. Done. Okay. So you see, that's how easy it is to manipulate. You can add rows, delete rows wherever you want. Suppose if I only want 800 rows, delete these rows. There are only 800 rows left in this sheet now. Okay. So that's again a very interesting way of how we can handle or manipulate Google Sheets, right? Perfect. So I think this looks good. We can also do redo. Redo is Control Shift Z. Apart from doing undo, redo is Control Shift Z, or you can do even like edit and go to redo. Okay, redo can also bring back things that you want to recover, right? So recover your done actions. Redo can help you over there, right? So cool. With that being said, I also told you that we can not only just sequentially uh, copy values or fill values, populate values. We can also sequentially copy formulas and add it over there, right? So with that being said, that's the all of the basics that we wanted to cover on day one, and that's right in front of you. If you have any doubts, you can quickly put it in the chat. You can ask me whatever your queries are. I'll be more than happy to help you with it. Whatever is the doubts, please put in the chat. I'm looking right in the live section. All right. So do we have any doubts coming in? Let me just open up the chats. All right. So in case I do not see any doubts coming in, we will stop the live here. And tomorrow we will look into much more advanced concepts, students. The idea is that today we have grasped the knowledge of how to use the spreadsheet in the very first place. Tomorrow we will dive deeper into understanding more complex functions. And third day would be more about what professionals do. Okay. So Vivek is asking how to make columns blank. So you can just select on column, right click, clear column. That's how you can clear the columns, right? And pretty straightforward. You can either delete the column, clear the column, and that's how you can handle it, right? So I hope Vivek you understood how you can clear columns. Okay. Suppose if I want to remove all the formats, I can just remove the formats. That's done, right? Every format is remitted by clicking on the D itself. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, students, for joining in today. I'll see you all live tomorrow. So remember, tomorrow is more interesting since there are more complex things to learn in Excel. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night to all of you.